Rodrigo sends clear message to Real Madrid as Arsenal's transfer clock ticks down. As Arsenal's summer transfer window nears its final stretch, one name continues to stir the headlines: Rodrigo goes. The Brazilian winger has been at the centre of speculation linking him with a move to the Premier League, with both Arsenal and Manchester City reportedly keeping tabs. But now, Rodrigo himself has sent a message, and it speaks volumes. Fresh off his first start of the season for Real Madrid in a 3-0 win over Real Oviedo, Rodrigo took to social media to post a series of photos from the match. His caption was simple, yet telling: "Good trip to Oviedo. Hola Madrid." It was a subtle but powerful statement of loyalty, one that may quiet the transfer noise, at least for now. Still, the drama surrounding his future hasn't gone unnoticed. Rodrigo has seen limited minutes recently under Xabi Alonso, raising eyebrows about his standing in Madrid's pecking order. After coming off the bench last week against Osasuna, he was handed a start this time, only to be subbed off just after the hour mark for Vinicius Jr., who went on to score. Cameras caught Rodrigo looking visibly frustrated on the bench. He tossed his training top aside and appeared to mutter in frustration before sipping from his water bottle, footage that quickly went viral and fueled rumours of a potential move. Meanwhile, in North London, Arsenal have been making bold moves of their own. Sporting director Andrea Berta has wasted no time reshaping the attacking line. Over the weekend, Arsenal completed a triple swoop. Eberechi Ease, Victor Gyökeres, and Noni Madueke all arrived, adding dynamism, depth, and versatility to Mikel Arteta's forward options. Ease, in particular, was a statement signing, snatched from under Tottenham's nose and confirmed on Saturday after weeks of behind-the-scenes negotiation. The England international brings flair and unpredictability to Arsenal's attacking midfield, addressing a key creative gap in the squad. With these signings done, some insiders now believe a move for Rodrigo may be off the table for the Gunners, especially given the investment already made. That said, Manchester City could still be in the running, and a late push from Pep Guardiola's side wouldn't be out of character. But time is running out. Any deal for Rodrigo, be it to Arsenal, City, or elsewhere, would need to be wrapped up before next Monday's transfer deadline. The clock is ticking, and Real Madrid's stance remains unclear. Do they see Rodrigo as an essential piece of the puzzle, or a luxury they can afford to offload? For now, the player's post-match message hints at a desire to stay and fight for his place. Yet the coming days will be decisive. If Arsenal are truly out of the race, Manchester City may have a clearer path. But as the transfer window has shown us time and again, in football, anything can change in the final hours. For Rodrigo, the spotlight isn't fading anytime soon, and the uncertainty surrounding his role at Real Madrid could still lead to a dramatic twist before the transfer window slams shut. Despite his message of unity and his Hola Madrid sign-off, sources close to the club suggest the Brazilian isn't fully convinced about his place in the starting 11. With Kylian Mbappe's arrival reportedly just a matter of time, and Vinicius Jr. already a nailed-on starter, Rodrigo's opportunities could become even more limited. That's left his camp open to discussions, and Premier League clubs are circling. Behind the scenes, Real Madrid are weighing up their options. They value Rodrigo highly, both as a long-term asset and for his commercial appeal. But they're also aware that his market value is near its peak, and a sizable offer, particularly from Manchester City, could be hard to ignore. Meanwhile, Arsenal's stance has shifted in the last 48 hours. Internally, there's a sense that the attack is now complete following the arrival of Ease, Gyökeres, and Madueke. Sources say Mikel Arteta is thrilled with the flexibility he now has in the final third, particularly with Ease's ability to drift centrally or operate wide, offering cover for both Martin Odegaard and Gabriel Martinelli. That said, Arteta remains a long-time admirer of Rodrigo, and if a last-minute opportunity arose, Arsenal wouldn't hesitate to re-engage, especially if it meant beating Pep Guardiola to the punch. The bigger question, however, is strategic. Should Arsenal invest heavily in yet another attacker when outgoings remain unresolved? The club still needs to finalise up to 5 departures, including Reiss Nelson, Fovio Vieira, and potentially Oleksandr Zinchenko, to balance the books and trim the squad. Sporting director Andrea Berta is working around the clock to find the right exits, but time is running short. From a financial perspective, Rodrigo wouldn't come cheap. Any move would likely require a fee north of £85 million, plus wages that place him near the top earners at the Emirates. That makes such a deal incredibly tight, unless Madrid lower their demands or Arsenal clear several contracts by week's end. Still, there are undeniable temptations. Rodrigo brings Champions League pedigree, versatility across the front line, and, at just 24, his best years are still ahead. Signing him could also help future-proof the squad against potential injuries or departures, particularly with Bukayo Saka's heavy workload. Back in Spain, the Madrid media is watching closely. Some outlets have downplayed the viral clip of Rodrigo's frustration, calling it a natural reaction from a player who wants to compete. Others see it as a sign of deeper tension, especially with the player having recently changed agents, often a clue that movement is coming. As of now, nothing is final. Rodrigo trains as a Real Madrid player, Arsenal appear content with their current squad, and Manchester City are still monitoring developments in the background. But in transfer season, silence doesn't always mean stability, it can mean strategy. And with just days to go, a single phone call could flip the script for all three clubs. Arsenal just 7 signings away from their dream team as transfer deadline approaches. With just a few days left before the summer transfer window closes, Arsenal find themselves on the brink of something big, a near-complete squad that could finally match Mikel Arteta's long-term vision. It's been a strong and strategic window so far. Determined to close the gap at the top of the Premier League, the Gunners have been proactive, targeting key areas in the squad that needed fresh energy and depth. On Saturday, they announced their 7th signing of the summer, Eberechi, sealing a high-profile move from Crystal Palace that added creativity and flair to Arsenal's midfield. He joins a growing list of exciting arrivals that includes Martin Zubimendi, Victor Gyökeres, Noni Madueke, Christian Mosquera, Christian Nurgard, and Kepa Arrizabalaga, each brought in with a specific tactical purpose. The signing of Gyökeres in particular has already paid off, with the Swedish striker netting a brace in a 5-0 win over Leeds United at the weekend, showcasing exactly why Arteta made him a priority. But it hasn't just been about adding. Arsenal have also been smart in trimming down the squad. So far, Thomas Partey, Kieran Tierney, and Jorginho have left the club, while Marquinhos and Nuno Tavares sealed permanent exits. More departures are expected in the coming days as Arsenal look to tighten the group, raise funds, and free up space, not only to comply with squad regulations but to maintain internal competitiveness. Still, there's a sense that this window isn't finished yet. What could still happen? Reports suggest Arsenal are still pursuing Piero Hincapié, Bayer Leverkusen's highly rated central defender. According to sources from Football.London, there is genuine interest from the North London club, and any movement in the final days could spark a late push to bring him in. Then there's the wild card, Rodrigo. In a perfect scenario, Arsenal would pull off a last-minute swoop for the Real Madrid winger, who has been linked to both the Gunners and Manchester City. But for that to happen, Los Blancos would likely need to lower their asking price or consider a loan deal, neither of which is guaranteed. Still, if the opportunity arises, Arsenal would be ready to explore it. The focus now, outgoings. For the remainder of the window, Arsenal's main priority will be offloading surplus players, with at least 5 squad members currently linked to exits. Jakub Kiwior has caught the attention of Porto, having slipped down the defensive pecking order. Reiss Nelson, Albert Sambi Lokonga, and Fovio Vieira, all returning from loan spells or struggling for minutes, are expected to move. And perhaps most notably, Oleksandr Zinchenko could be on the way out. The Ukrainian fullback has lost his starting spot this season and may seek a new challenge where regular football is more likely. If Berta and Arteta can complete these outgoing deals and, perhaps, land 1 or 2 final reinforcements, Arsenal's dream squad for the 2025-26 season could be fully realised, and just in time. The next few days will be intense, unpredictable, and possibly defining for Arsenal's season. But if the final pieces fall into place, the Gunners will head into the autumn with one of the most complete, balanced, and dangerous squads in Europe. Still, while Arsenal may be just a few moves away from assembling what many fans are calling the dream team, the final stretch of the transfer window could define whether this project reaches its full potential this season, or falls just short again. Behind the scenes, sporting director Andrea Berta is working around the clock. His mission isn't just to finalize outgoing deals, but to do so efficiently, in a way that maintains squad harmony, respects financial fair play regulations, and positions Arsenal as serious contenders both domestically and in Europe. The arrival of Eberechi has already shaken things up tactically. Sources close to the club say Arteta sees him as a flexible option, capable of playing as a no. 10, a wide forward, or even in a deeper creative role alongside Degaard. His flair, ball progression, and ability to break down low blocks attributes Arsenal lacked at times last season. And with Gyökeres offering a true no. 9 presence and Madueke bringing pace and unpredictability on the right, Arsenal's front line suddenly looks capable of troubling any defence in Europe. But there are still open questions, and they're not small ones. Is Zinchenko's time at Arsenal over? Once a fan favourite and a key figure in Arsenal's build-up play, Oleksandr Zinchenko has seen his stock fall dramatically. His lack of defensive solidity, once overlooked due to his technical strengths, has now become a liability in bigger matches. With Jurrien Timber back from injury and Kiwior and Tomiyasu offering more balanced defensive profiles, Zinchenko may no longer be essential. If the right offer comes in, Arsenal will consider letting him go, even if it means saying goodbye to a player who was, not long ago, central to Arteta's tactical identity. The midfield exodus. The departures of Thomas Partey and Jorginho have signalled a clear shift in Arsenal's midfield strategy. The new-look engine room will likely centre around Declan Rice, Zubimendi, and potentially Nurgard, a player brought in not just for his defensive work rate but also for his leadership and experience. However, the exits also create opportunities, especially for young Hale-End talents like Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly, who have impressed in pre-season. Should Berta fail to bring in one more central midfielder, Arteta may look to these academy graduates for depth and rotation. What if Rodrigo happens? The Rodrigo saga remains one of the biggest what-ifs of the window. While Real Madrid have publicly maintained that the Brazilian is part of their future, privately there are whispers that the right bid, or a high-profile replacement like Mbappé, could open the door. If Arsenal manage to move on the likes of Vieira, Nelson, and Zinchenko quickly, they might just have the financial wiggle room to make a bold, late move. But a move of that magnitude would not just be about finances, it would send a message. A statement of intent that Arsenal aren't just chasing silverware, they're building a dynasty. The repercussions. Premier League rivals reacting. Manchester City are already rumoured to be monitoring the Rodrigo situation. If Arsenal make a move, expect Pep Guardiola's side to respond, possibly reigniting interest in the winger themselves or pushing for late reinforcements elsewhere. Squad competition intensifies. With new names arriving, current squad players will face fiercer competition than ever. While this boosts standards, it may also lead to discontent, particularly among fringe players who expected more minutes this season. Financial pressure mounting. Arsenal have spent heavily this window. Without significant outgoings in the next few days, questions around the club's financial balance may emerge, especially with UEFA's tightening grip on FFP compliance. The final push. With the transfer deadline fast approaching, the coming days will be critical. Arsenal are incredibly close to having their ideal squad, but the last few moves will require precision, decisiveness, and maybe even a little courage. If Andrea Berta can clear the decks and land one or two final pieces, Arsenal won't just be contenders, they could be the team to beat.